We live in an obsessed era for motivation. We consume inspiring videos, share effects of effect, and hear exciting lectures, all hoping to capture that magic spark that will make us feel capable and determined. The problem is that this effect lasts at most one day, then the flame goes out, and we return to the couch, waiting for the next dose of enthusiasm. Motivation is like a remedy that relieves it on time, but does not heal. It depends on the moon phase. Building life based only on it is like correcting a house over moved sand. Here is an uncomfortable truth. The most disciplined and successful people in the world rarely depend on motivation. They trust something much more solid, a set of mental principles that consciously install in their minds, such as software that redefines their way of operating. Today, I will present 7 of these principles. They may sound hard at first glance, but they are exactly what separates those who dream of those who build the life they want. First principle: you're what you do, not what you feel. This is the most powerful change of mindset, the basis on which all other principles are sustained. Who is fragile is defined by emotions. I am not inspired today, so I am not a writer. I have no disposition, so I am not an athlete. I am lazy, so I am not disciplined. This person is waiting for his inner state to align with the role he wants to play, and while waiting, life goes by. Your emotions are like time. Today, you sunbathe and you feel able to conquer the world. Tomorrow it rains discouragement and the will is to hide under the covers. Trying to build your identity or results on this unstable foundation is how to lift a sand castle by the sea. The first wave will destroy it. This strong mindset reverses this logic. Your essence is not determined by what you feel, but what you do, especially when you don't want to. An athlete is not the one who loves to train every day, but who goes to the gym even with muscle pain and rain out there. A writer is not the one who waits for the muse to arrive, but who sits at the table and writes his page, even with an empty mind. A disciplined person is not the one who never feels lazy, but who acts despite her. Your identity is forged in resistance. Every action you perform against your will is a vote in favor of the person who wants to become. Next time a task appears and your mind starts complaining, I'm not in the mood, it's not the time. Ask a different question. Know how to motivate. But what kind of person I choose to be now? Someone hostage to passing emotions or someone guided by values and decisions? Your action at that moment will be the answer. The more you act, the more solid your new identity will become. You are no longer a slave to humor and become the architect of character itself. Your trust is not born of a flash of inspiration, but of a proven fact. You are someone who does what you set out to do. Second principle: the action is fuel, not the result. There is a mental trap in which we fall daily. We believe that motivation should come first, as an initial push that will lead us to action. We were stopped, waiting for the energy to arrive, as if waiting for a bus on the stop, only the bus can never appear. So we lost hours and days in inertia, justifying, I'm just not motivated. We think motivation is the cause and action, the consequence. But those who really achieve results know that order is reversed. Imagine your mind as a powerful but cold engine. Motivation is not the fuel in the tank. It is the heat that the engine generates when it is already in operation. To turn it on, however, it is necessary to give the first and hardest rotated key, and the key and this turn is the action. Action without any motivation, moved only by willpower. Physics and psychology confirm an object at rest tends to remain at rest. The greatest effort is necessary precisely to get out of inertia. But once in motion, inertia works in your favor. This principle revolutionizes the rules of the game. Your mission is not to find motivation to work out, but to put on tennis and leave the house. It's not waiting for inspiration to write a report, but open the document and type the first line. It is not waiting for a mood to tidy up the room, but take a plate and wash it. Try the 2-minute rule. Start any TAR-EFA for just 2 minutes. Everyone can withstand 2 minutes, but the magic is there. This initial small step is what connects the engine. This minimum success sends a signal to the brain: I can, I'm doing. This sign is the pure motivation, born of the action, not waiting. This principle transforms you from a passive consumer of inspiration into an active generator of your own energy. You stop waiting for something or someone to propel you and take control, spinning the key alone. Third principle: discipline is freedom, not prison. In our culture, the word discipline carries a negative weight. We associate her with military routines, boring obligations, a cage that prevents us from enjoying life. We value the freedom to do what we understand well, when we well understand. But let's look at this freedom closely. In fact, it is the freedom to give in to laziness and skip training, spending hours rolling feeds on networks instead of working on your project, to eat bad food for a momentary impulse. This is not freedom, it is a disguised prison. You are not free. He is a slave to his whims, his passing desires, his bad habits. True freedom is something else. It is having a healthy body that obeys its commands and allows you to live fully. It is having financial independence, not to be hostage to a job that hates. It is having knowledge and skills that expand your choices. And this freedom does not fall from heaven. It is built. The tool to build it is discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It is a conscious choice. It is to say no to immediate pleasure in the name of a greater goal. It's doing what you decided to do, not what your mood said. Each time you will work out despite the desire to stay on the couch, you are buying a future piece of health. Each time you work instead of watching another episode, you're investing in financial freedom. Discipline is not about doing what you hate, but about honoring your commitments to yourself, even when initial enthusiasm disappears. It is the bridge between who you are today and who you want to be tomorrow. This principle completely changes its perspective. The routine is no longer a burden and becomes a ritual that strengthens you. The effort is no longer a sacrifice and becomes an investment. You are not depriving yourself. It's freeing yourself. The rigid structures you impose on yourself are not bars of a prison, but the walls of a fortress. They protect him from external chaos and, most importantly, from their own internal demons, procrastination, self-sabotage, the voice that whispers to give up when things get difficult. True freedom is not the absence of rules, but the freedom of oneself of its weakness, its less disciplined version. It is the freedom not to be hostage to your moods or impulses. Fourth rule: I fall in love with the process, not the promise of the result. Motivation is a bait that our brain hangs in the distant future. We look at the image of the desired result, the carved body, the full bank account, the published book, and have the sweet fantasy to boost us. But this strategy has two fatal defects. First, the result is always far away, while the difficulties are here, now. The distance between where you are and where you want to go is so great that instead of motivating, often paralyzed. Second, even when you reach the goal, you find that euphoria lasts only a moment. This is what we call the arrival error. The belief that gaining something will bring lasting happiness is an illusion. After the celebration, you feel empty, as if you had cast a mountain just to find out that there was nothing at the top. This rule proposes a radical turn. Stop working for the future reward and start finding the reward in the work itself. It is not the mentality of a sprinter, which runs only by the line of arrival, but of an artisan master, which finds pleasure not only in the ready piece, but in the smell of sawed wood, the sound of the tool, the concentration necessary for each movement. He does not tolerate the routine by the result. He loves the routine. Transform the repetitive into ritual, the effort into art. When you adopt this mindset, your life changes radically. You stop measuring your days just for what you have achieved and measure them by the quality of the applied effort. A good day is not the one in which it received compliments for reached a milestone, but that in who worked with honesty and total dedication even when it was boring, difficult, or invisible. His success is no longer postponed to a one day. You are successful just as you did. The process. This makes it immune to external evaluations and failures. Even if a project goes wrong, you will know that it has extracted the pleasure and growth of the journey. Your reward is not an annual prize, but a daily currency that you deposit in the account of your own development. Fifth rule: I have no choice. This is the most relentless and also the most effective rule for extraordinary results. It does not apply to all tasks, but to those or two that define their future. Motivation always presupposes an option. Am I motivated enough to do that? This question already opens the door for doubt, for internal negotiation with its own laziness. Your mind begins to make excuses. Maybe tomorrow is less tired. Now they are not the best conditions. This mental dialogue consumes your willpower even before you begin. The rule "I have no choice" eliminates this internal conversation. You make the decision only once. It won't try to quit smoking. You are a non-smoker person. Endpoint. You won't work out to finish the thesis. You will finish it. This task is no longer an option on the menu and becomes as automatic as breathing, as non-negotiable as taking care of a child. You get all the alternatives out of the table. Burns the withdrawal bridges. When her mind has no other way but acting, she stops spending energy by resisting and directs all resources to solve the task. It's hard with the weak part of yourself, but that's how the biggest jumps in life happen. Sixth rule: either I win or I learn. There is no third option. This is his main antidote against the greatest killer of motivation, the fear of failure. Most people face any challenge as a game of two results: victory or defeat, success or failure, and the terror of falling into the failure spine is so great that it often paralyzes action even before it begins. Our motivation is fragile, flourished with victories and wilted with losses. A single stumble can make us unwilling to try again for weeks. This rule will rewrite the rules of the game. You scratch the word failure of your vocabulary and replace it with lesson. Now, every action of yours has only two possible outcomes. Either you get what you wanted, victory, or gain experience, feedback, data that will make you smarter and stronger for the next attempt learning. You can no longer lose. Every result moves him forward. This mindset transforms you into a scientist in the lab of life itself. Does a researcher whose experiment did not confirm the hypothesis if he considers it failed? No, he gained valuable information that narrowed the way to the right answer. Similarly, each mistake of yours is not a verdict about your talent, but a precious fact on what not to do. This makes it invulnerable, bold, and accelerates its growth exponentially. Seventh rule. Today's discomfort is the price of tomorrow's success. Our brain is biologically programmed to seek immediate rewards and avoid any discomfort. It was a survival mechanism for our ancestors, but today it became our worst enemy. The weak person is hostage to this impulse, chooses the couch instead of race, fast food instead of healthy food, distraction instead of learning. She lives spun in the future, reaping cheap pleasures now to pay later with high interest rates in the form of weakened health, missed opportunities, and regrets. This rule forces you to become an investor, not a consumer. You see discomfort not as a punishment to be avoided, but as a currency payment for the future you want. Each time it is obliged to do something difficult, it is making a deposit. The burning in the muscles during training, it is the rate by strength and health. Mental effort and boredom when learning a new skill, it is the cost of domain and professional rise. Discomfort and fear during a difficult conversation, it is the price for more honest and solid relationships. When you adopt this mindset, your perception of effort transforms. It begins to feel a deep satisfaction by overcoming resistance. Feel the muscle fibers burning and thinks, this is my strength growing. Scent and the mind grinding in the face of a complex problem and understands, I am building new neural connections. The discomfort is no longer an enemy and becomes your coach, a sign that you are on the right track. Life will charge your bill anyway. The question is, do you prefer to pay in small daily installments of discipline or on a unique and overwhelming invoice called regret at the end of the journey? Stop waiting for the right mood. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Motivation is a luscious and unhappy ally. Your systems are the army that will fight for you, regardless of the emotional climate. Choose one of the 7 mentalities you need most right now. Turn it on the home screen of your phone. Repeat it every morning like a mantra. Install this new software in your mind and observe your life start to reconfigure yourself with or without motivation. If you're ready to change the wait for the action, fix this decision. It's not about likes or comments, but about the commitment you assume to yourself. Change begins when you choose a mindset and make it part of your internal code. The rest is a consequence. Which one do you need today? The one that will take you from the intention to the execution.